Hey guys, HuShang here. Today we're going to be looking at an extremely important concept in Starcraft 2 that's going to teach you how to improve your macro past the basics of, just make more SCVs. So by the end of this lesson, you're going to have a really good understanding of how to improve your macro even into leagues like Masters and Grandmaster. If you're new to the channel, I'm a Grandmaster with all three races. If you're interested in lessons, you can find my website in the description. And you can also find my Discord link where you can find practice partner, discuss strategy, etc. Okay, let's get into the guide. So here I have a game between myself and Devin, who is about 4,800, I think, Terran. So he's maybe Master 1. And this is a game I played at like 2 a.m. So there's tons of mistakes, which makes it perfect for teaching you guys. So we're opening up with a Raven Tank Marine build, and so this is a guide or a build you can find on my YouTube channel if you search TVT Raven, I believe. And we're opening up with that build, so we won't discuss that build, but we'll talk about the transition and how I am maximizing my economy, even though we're both kind of macroing well. Okay, so here's our transition into 3 racks. And I want you guys to look at my natural base. So it's really common in these matchups to take your gases too quickly. And what this does is really reduce the amount of minerals you're making and have you mining way too much gas. So if you look at my base, you'll see that I do have 3 gases, which is to support the Raven opening, but I don't have 4 just yet. And so you can see that my main saturation is quite a bit over 16, whereas my opponent here has both of his early gases, and so his mineral saturation is just a bit under 16. And in the main, we have both of us are making buildings, so we're a little undersaturated as well. But so this taking this gas too fast is actually going to put me quite a bit ahead going into the mid game. And this is going to compound. So let's look at how this plays out. Even early on, our supplies are already a little bit different here. I'm up 6 SCVs. And this is just because I'm not taking these gases. So you can see super late 4th gas. We're going to move this command center over. And you're going to see me apply the same concept to this 3rd base. Whereas my opponent is not going to do that. So I did make a mistake here. Like I said, this game was played at like 2 a.m. So we should be adding our E-base here and getting our upgrades. You can see our opponent's adding his E-base, but this concept is so powerful that we're still gonna wreck him. Even though he has all the other advantages you might think are important. The main advantage you need in this game is economy. Okay, so he's getting his 3 racks set up. I got 5 racks. Like I said, I should have got the E-base, and then the 2 more racks would have been much better. And then here we are, using our early mineral advantage to put on some pressure. So you can see, let's see where his marines are. So he has 10 marines, and we have, 10, 12, 14 marines. So we have a little more marines early on, and this is allowing us to do this early attack and just contain him. And then behind this, we've secured our 3rd already. So we're already up a base with 8 more workers, and it's only 6 minutes and 30 seconds. And like I said, this guy's a Master 1 player. Okay, so what's he doing with his gas? Because he does have more gas, right? So we should address that. So he's got his 1-1 started a bit faster. This doesn't have to be the case. We could have definitely matched his 1-1 timing. So that's not really where his gas is going. His gas is going into these Vikings. So you can play this way. It's not a bad way to play. This is going to make you play more defensive though. So, so once you make these Vikings, you're kind of committing to a very slow passive game, which I personally do not like at all. And so by maximizing my minerals, I'm allowed to play a lot more aggressive. I'm always going to have more marines, and I'm always going to take the better fights as long as we're not sieged. Okay, so now he has a huge problem. He has these gases, yes, but he can't take his 3rd base. So early game, taking less gas has caused me to mine my 3rd base a lot faster. He tries to break out here, and to be honest, this is another terrible fight, which is going to be a theme in this game. I'm just going to take terrible fight after terrible fight And we're still gonna win because the economy is so good. So he kills 3 tanks, or 2 tanks I guess. So obviously this went bad for us. If you saw this fight you might think, oh shit, we're losing. But again, this base back here is going to be so important. Okay, so we take these gases right now, right? The base is fully saturated, we should take the gases. But instead what I'm going to do is delay these quite a bit. Because we might use some of these to make maybe depots, or if you build the gases right now, you're suddenly on 13 out of 15. So we want to be on like at least 18 before we make anything. So instead, we're going to grab a 4cc before he's even on 3cc. And we can do this because we have more Marines, right? We've used that mineral advantage to have more Marines on the map. He does have more tanks, yes, but they can't really attack us, right? They have to be sieged. So we're leveraging that mineral income to hold him back at his base and just expand like crazy. Okay, third example of a really terrible fight I never should have taken. We could have easily just backed up here, regrouped with some medevacs, and then pushed in maybe for the win. But instead I lost all my units, so perfect. But back at home, we have our 5 barracks set up, we're pumping out a ton of Marines, getting our upgrades, tanks, medevacs. So we just have so much stuff. Like look at the army supply. Even though we've already thrown 2 fights, we're still ahead. And we have 11 more SCVs. So even though we keep throwing these terrible fights, we're still ahead. Grabbing our 4cc. There's some more mistakes coming up, like I don't focus on any vision here. It's really, really important in TVT actually to have good vision. But when you're playing at 2 AM, what are you going to do? So pumping out the Marine tank. We're pushing out, and he gets us out of position. So this is what, like the 3rd or 4th mistake? We're just making blunder after blunder. It's amazing. And so he sieges up, and we stim in here, and look at this Marine count. So this is really where the economic advantage is starting to be pretty apparent, is we have 20 Marines, and he has 9, right? And we have another CC over him, you know, and we have, you know, all this other stuff. The armory's going down for us. Actually, he has an army as well. But we just have so many more things than him. Like, look at the supply here. Plus 20 supply. And so even though he has the slightly higher tank count here, and he had the good position, that Marine count is really going to help us clean most of this up. And then our reinforcements can clean up the rest. So he backs up. Probably should have got this sensor tower earlier, but that's okay. We have more money. Here we are pushing out. And he sneaks by us. I think in this situation, we don't get the perfect position, but it's okay. Like he doesn't have quite enough tanks to really move in here. So it would be better for him actually to play more defensive here, I think, since we're making so many Marines, and try to drag the game out, and then he can get back in the game like that. But since he decided to push out, we just collapse in on him with all our Marines, which have 1-1 now. We're taking a 5th CC. You can see here I'm not taking any gas again. I'm really just focused on the minerals. And now we're really starting to get ahead in that economy. Here we take out some SCVs. So now it's 71 SCV to 65. R22 is faster, even though he started his 1-1 faster, because he couldn't afford it, and attack and defend. So he is really... because he's low on minerals, he can't even keep up in tech anymore at this point. So the minerals have given us pretty much all the advantages now. We've caught up in the upgrades. We have just as many tanks, I believe, and medevacs. And we have, you know, 2 more bases than him. So he's pretty screwed from here. We do have to make sure we don't take any bad fights. And this is just me not playing TVT well, actually, right here. What I should be doing is just leaving some tanks and then just moving my bio. But instead I'm moving my whole army. So this is something I fixed later in the game. Definitely some things I can improve in TVT as well. It's much weaker than my Protoss. But we managed to clean them up. And then in the next several minutes, once we start getting some better tank positions here, I realize we need to put them there. we start to take control of this game. He does manage to cancel the CC a couple times, but eventually we just have way too much money. I'll fast forward here. Way too much money, especially in this scenario, and he just crumbles. So yeah, hopefully you guys can put this into practice in your own games, making sure that you're not taking your gases too early and focusing a lot of your money on building up your economy. And that way you have more Marines, you can keep more map control, you can get ahead of your opponent, and that should help a lot, especially if you're trying to play aggressive. If you're trying to play defensive, this might be the wrong approach, but if you want to play aggressive, then this is a great way to get super ahead of your opponent. Okay, so hopefully you guys enjoyed this lesson. If you did, leave a like, subscribe, comment what you want to see next, and I will see you in the next one.